It's the default login for Dr. Kim. It's not going to be the same for the ultimate SEO websites. It's not necessarily the same for any of your websites. But you need to log in there at WP admin. Once you've logged in, you may need to do updates, as I do. You may not have to. It's always good, though, to get all your updates done. While we're waiting for these updates, we're going to be installing plugins. So we're going to add new plugins. I'm opening it in a separate window so that way the updates can still be processed. Jetpack's always a good thing to add. We're going to add that. Instead of hitting activate, which you will have to do later, but if you hit activate, then it takes you to the screen for all installed plugins, and you still want to keep installing plugins. So don't activate it, just install it. Next one we're going to do is we're going to do a security plugin. Prevents people from messing up the site later. I always do Kerber. Cyber SYN is the plugin that I always use for auto blogging. WPA Auto Link is the other half of the auto blogging. For displaying the content the way that I want it to display on the pages, I always install Content View. And then from here, it just depends on what you're intending to do with the website. If you want to have it to where it's a directory, type in directory, and you can see how many times something's been installed. Now, it's not the case always where the number one installed plugin is the best one to use, but in this regard, for the directory, I'm going to go with the number one just because I've had some experience playing with the other ones. If you didn't want to do the directory, you could also do forums. I personally like WP Forum right here. And hit install. The cool thing is that when I typed in forum, it also popped up with the contact form 7, which we're going to want to have a contact form, and also Yoast SEO. We want to have Yoast SEO, so I'm going to install that one as well. That was one that I normally install as well. We already installed it. I'm just going to scroll down and see what else is available. MailChimp is for making email lists. Okay, so those are going to be the ones that I want to put in. Another plugin that we might try doing is Elementor. It's a page builder. It's free. Also, you might try something for users. So we can do Ultimate Member. This plugin. I like to be able to change the login page. So I found that Login Press is a good plugin. To do my backups, I always use all-in-one migration. There's other small plugins that you might do, like if you don't want to have any comments, you can get, for like no commenting, disable comments. You may not want to disable them. Maybe you want to just have it to where they're Facebook only, so people have to be logged into Facebook to be able to use them. We'll do that one. The disk comment system is also another good one. Let's go on to our posts. Before we can do any posts, we'll need to be able to do categories. Before we can set up all of our plugins, we also have to do our categories. One thing I always do is I get rid of uncategorize. Can't get rid of it, but you can rename it. I always make it general, or something else that's broad, but that's not uncategorized. So we can go to back to categories. We see general's there now. We can add another category, and we can put in news. You can type in a slug if you want to. Remember, a slug is going to be the address that you want this category to come up as. In our regards, we're going to leave it alone because it'll automatically put in news. See that? Now we could have nested a category underneath here. So in other words, underneath news could have been another category, a subcategory. Whatever you want to do there. And site updates. I'm going to give a couple categories that are just really broad, that give us space to go. Usually at this point, you've already got an idea of where this site's going, and what's going to be on the site. So you're just going to make categories that would make sense for that. And with that being done, we can then go down to plugins. I'm going to click this to select all of them. And then the drop-down box, I'm going to activate them all at once. And it may pop up and say, it's down due to maintenance. It may do what mine just now did, which was absolutely nothing. And so when it goes to nothing, then that means you need to just go through and activate them one at a time because it's not listening. As we're activating these, we have the business directory plugin has additional pages that it wants to use. So we'll hit yes, create the required pages for me. So it's going to make some pages for us. And activate this one. Activate Elementor. Close out of that. I'm going back into plugins. I'm going to activate Jetpack. Say not now. Let's do it later. Login press. Alternate member. Notice on the left hand side all the options that we have. They keep growing as we're updating things. Alternate member, by the way, wants to create pages like this. These are also only good things to have. Create pages. Save changes. So it's going to make those pages for us. That's a deal for how to save money. I'm going to hit no thanks. We'll come back to this. But before we come back to it, I'm going to go to email. And then instead of an account welcome email, we're going to get rid of that. Because if you have this checked, then basically if someone signs up for an account, they get an account. We want them to have to activate. So I'm going to turn on the second one. I'm going to say we want them to activate. We want them to have to verify their email address before they can use the site. Why do we do that? Just because of the sheer amount of spam. Just sites that create an account and try to post to your blog. So now, by doing that, people have to actually join and then activate before they can do that. And we're going back to activating plugins again. Kerber's our security one. Now we're going to need to go back later on here, and for each one of these things, we're going to need to make sure we set them up. Right now we're just activating things so that way they're available for us. We'll still have to go back and actually set up each item. Hello Dolly is a plugin that just comes with the installation. It does absolutely nothing. Let's go and delete it. It's deleted. And this right here prevents spam. I don't really use it all that much just because I find it annoying. It may be a great one to use, but I usually try to fight spam in other ways. So we've got all these different plugins in here. We've created different pages. Let's go on and go to our appearance. And let's pick out a theme. These themes are the default themes. They almost always suck. So let's go to add new theme. And these are a lot better themes, okay? They're free. At least there's a free version of them. And so we can pick out which one, basically looks the way that we want it to be. It's kind of a double-edged sword, though, in that it's hard sometimes to get these to actually look like how they look here. With that being said, it's still a good guideline. You can also do a search. Type in like a keyword. I put in running. These are the ones that popped up here. This site is marathonman.net. We're going to pretend that it is a charity run. Activate it. We're going to put on customize. And then here we're able to customize the theme. This is what your site looks like currently. You basically just want to start at the beginning and work your way down. Do you want the sidebar on the right? Do you want it on the left? Do you want to have one column, 3 columns, 4 columns, a grid layout? Just pick the layout here. Notice how that looks. Noticing how this looks. I'm going to go with the right sidebar. It's kind of standard. Your A tag is going to be your links. LI is going to be your list items. H1 are the biggest headers. H2 is the second biggest header. H3, the next biggest header. H4, obviously, going on and on. You can add a link. If you have a YouTube channel, you can type in your YouTube channel's address. Once you type something in there, usually it'll pop up with a, there we go, YouTube. Now you're not just typing in normally the address to the site, you would actually put in like your username afterwards, whatever your address is. is free there. Sometimes they have a slider. It'll be like a slider that's available on the home page. I'm going to leave that one alone. Your footer text can say whatever you want to. Oftentimes it'll say copyright 2019 at marathonman.net. And hit publish. Now it doesn't take us out of here, but it does save the things that we've done. You can put in the site logo now. An easy way to make a site logo is to go to thehoff.com, hit login. You may need to create a login here. And tools, online logo maker, create my logo, add a symbol, abstract, marathon man. Okay, so he's running. So what looks like running? That looks running. What looks like running? That looks like running. That's your logo. To get rid of what you already have, we'll click delete. Delete. You click on the individual colors and change them. And that could be our marathon man. You can also add a shape around it, or you can add another symbol to it. You know, it's whatever you feel. You want to save and download it by also sending it into an email of your own. This will give you a transparent version of it. Transparent versions are best. I'm going to make a quick screenshot version though, just to save time. You always want to put in your alt text. What's the important words here? That's up there. This is going to be the icon. That'll be like in the browser window thing. Like this is what it would look like right here. Publish that. Login press is going to affect the login page. I'll leave that for you to look at and play with on your own. Change the colors. The background color. You're going to want to change that to white so it better matches this background here. You can pick a header image if you want. Here's your menus. Right now it's putting every single page that's being created in there. Let's say that we don't want to have that going on. So we just need to switch to a different menu. Unfortunately, there's no other menus available, so we're going to go create new menu. I'm going to name it main. Okay, this will be our main one. It's checked to be the primary menu already. Hit next. There we go. And then we can add items. These are pages that already exist. These are different aspects that are in the site already. You can also make custom links. These can be to anything. Under pages, we can add the forum, we can add the home page, we can add an about page. Notice if it's not listed there, you can create a page real quick and easy by just typing it in here. There it is. Add a contact page. We can add a blog page or a news page is what I like to call it. And there we go. Now, a lot of people are going to want these probably ordered differently. Usually I think the home page is first. Move the Ultimate SEO to like last. Notice this went underneath that one. That would make it like a sub page. We don't want to necessarily do that, so I moved it back up. But you can do that. There we go. That's the order that I want. I'm going to hit publish. The widgets are going to allow us to change what's in the sidebar. I generally like to get rid of recent comments. I kind of like to get rid of archive. If I don't get rid of archive, I like to do display as a drop-down. It just makes it more compact. Categories usually do the same thing. Display as a drop-down. Meta. These are frequently accessed links. I generally get rid of it because I'm going to end up changing my login and log out pages. It's because it helps to prevent people from messing with your site. So I'm going to remove the meta completely. You can also add widgets here. These are widgets that are available to you. It's also stuff that's come along with some of the plugins that we added, for instance, the business directory. You can create another navigation menu and you can have it added there. These are for the forum. But at this point, I can't really think of anything that I really want to put there right now. So I'm going to just put nothing there. Notice I keep publishing ever so often. And you can add to the footer the same way you were adding to the sidebar right here. Navigation 1 would be the first section, second, third, and the fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go to your homepage settings. Do you want to have your blog posts, the latest ones, on the homepage? Or do you want to have a static homepage that you specifically pick stuff to go on? For quick and easy, I would say the latest. You can do additional CSS right here. Now, this gets really tricky, but for instance, if we go to inspect element, like I think that's too big. So inspect element says that this is image.custom-logo. Notice it's highlighted right here as well. Class equals custom logo. So we can do custom-logo. I did put a dot before that, by the way. That means it's a class. And then little squiggly lines here. And then you can actually put in the code for that thing. So I'm going to say I want my height to be 125 pixels. Notice the height's changed now. I want my width to be 125 pixels. Notice it's a lot smaller now. I think it looks better. Publish that. Get rid of this. And there we go. So that was our appearance thing. You can do a lot more editing throughout the site on different things. We're also going to need to go through and set up all these different plugins. But at this point, we kind of covered installing plugins, customizing the look of the site, kind of thinking ahead about categories, securing the site with a security plugin. SEO considerations are here. One last thing, actually, that's kind of important. Go to settings, permalinks. This is whenever you post stuff, how do you want the address to look? Now, generically, they should look like that. That's not very helpful, though. So, by default, most people will pick post name. And that's what I picked too. Let's save. This will create a special file that you're going to want to need anyway, though. I always hit save a second time just for good measure. And so now I have my permalinks as well. I'll just show you, like for instance, we can go to the contact forms. There's contact form. It's got a shortcode here. Shortcode is code that you can enter into a page. You can copy it on your clipboard. You go to pages. Here's a contact page. Contact form probably should be on it. So I'm going to edit this page. So I'm editing here. I could open this in Elementor and edit it that way, but I'm just putting a contact on here to paste that shortcode. This is what it will look like on Google. I'm going to edit snippet here. And you can actually type in a meta description if you'd like. Now, is that necessarily what you want to have on that page? Not necessarily, but we're just proving you can put stuff there. Now, it's a page where we hit update. Notice the address, that's what the slug would be. There's the slug here. By default, it just picks up whatever you type in the title. We can make the title different. We can make the title contact form. If you change it here, though, it may change it in the menus if it's on the menus. An easy way, though, to change it on Google but not everywhere else is going to be to just go up here, get rid of title, type in contact. Update. You can look and view what does the page look like. Looks right. What we want, right? It could be, a picture, or there could be text in here, but for our purposes, it looks good. Now I'm going to jump back though, and let's edit this page. Let's say that we do want to add some text there. Pages, contact, edit. How do we get stuff above? Well, when we mouse over, we see add block. So we hit there, and what do we want to add above it? I'm going to say a paragraph. Since we said we were going to install a form, I'm going to mention the form here. Update. Go to view page. Update, right? And there we go. And that's kind of just getting started.